brand new episode for you guys. I'm excited. We have a new interview. This gentleman right here, I met him through doing some open mic nights. And when I heard this guy, I was like, oh man, this guy's dope, man. This guy has some talent. And he just said he was starting, and I was like, sheesh. It made me think about some things. Like, you just started? So it's because he sounded like a vet already. So without further ado, we have Creon Potier with us today. Creon, thank you for being with us,
Hello.
brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we always like to get started. We always are welcoming new artists, on our show. That's we kind of wanted to get more into here at End Zone Emcees. So, it's always good to have people from the community come connecting with us closer, and I'm glad we're making this happen. So, all right, so I just want to get us started with some of your background as far as where are you from? Tell us a little bit more about yourself, Creon.
So I am from Houston, Texas. I came out here in about 2018, and I came out here initially to do film school, but I started singing around the pandemic. So yeah,
Okay, okay,
Now,
cool. And I asked you earlier if you liked it more between LA and Texas. Did you want to? I'm curious to hear more.
yeah. I'm happy to answer it again. I'll give a more clear answer. I overall I would say I like LA a lot more. Um,
Okay,
Houston's always like a vibe, and I return to it like a few times a year. But I really like being out here. So
right on, right on. Hey, you gotta have a special place in your heart for the hometown, right? So I get
that
it.
even would that even be considered bi-coastal? It's not even by the coast, really. But
Uh, but yeah, for sure. Okay,
I
Houston
mean,
got.
I guess if you by the Gulf, is the Gulf considered like the Atlantic technically? Is that still part of the Atlantic Ocean, or is that like it's the Gulf of Mexico is like its own thing? Because I thought like that water was still part of the Atlantic. I don't know. I got to go back and do my
I
go back
wouldn't.
I'm not
take some
sure.
geography classes. It's been a while.
I was like, you
For
asked
real,
the wrong person.
Yeah, I
right?
feel you. I feel you. But you mentioned Houston, and Houston got a lot of talent, a lot of music. Musical artists: Beyonce, Meg Thee Stallion, Slim Thug, Paul Wall.
Yep.
I'm curious. Growing up, what were your musical influences, or what influences you today for your own music?
So when I was younger, I was really always like involved in music in some type of way. I was in choir when I was a little kid. And I wasn't even officially a part of the choir. I had to be no older than like 6 or 7 years old, but I like to sing with them. So I did do that, and then throughout my adolescence, I did band. I wasn't a singer. I played trumpet and I played marimba.
Mm,
So I did a lot of classical music and stuff. But as far as like my own inspiration, I was always attracted to R&B and chopped and screwed as well. Like I kind of was a little all over the place. So I listened to a little bit of everything. But whenever I think about like one of my major inspirations, I think a lot about Solange. I think she represents Houston really, really well. Her last album was dedicated to Houston. So I feel like anything that has kind of like a homegrown, like
like
living in your kind of
grassroots.
feel. Yeah, I think that's kind of like what I gravitate towards.
Nice, nice, nice. I didn't hear that Solange album, but now I need to go check it out to check out the Houston roots and whatnot. Would you say that listening to the new project Wonderlust? Congratulations, by the way. I think it's a mixture of just with everything you just said. Your new project is a mixture of all different types of sounds. It had like the pop feel, it had the trap feel to it, but it still had that unique blend of R&B, of soul, and I definitely can hear the influences in it. Uh,
Thank you.
to that, yeah, no problem, bro. I would say that if I had to, I would say probably Solar. That song really was like okay, but even the first intro track, Overflow, like that's a great intro track. It makes you move, it
Yeah.
makes you want to groove. It talked about love. I was really feeling it.
Thank you. I think Solo is one of my favorite too as well. I'm so happy a lot of people are really like gravitating towards Overflow. Overflow is a great opening track, and I knew that when I was starting this project, I wanted it to feel kind of like a cassette.
Mm,
Um, so all the songs are telling a story, and I knew I wanted to start the project with like a voiceover, a memo, like a note that people could come back to or that they can hear at the very start of like the project. I think Overflow really like captures the whole vibe of like what this project is about.
Now, what was the inspo behind the project overall? The inspo behind Wonderlist.
So I would say Wanderlust is really inspired by like heartbreak, but not in the
Mm.
traditional way. Like I feel like it's not like a f you to whoever you're involved with. I feel like it's more like trying to turn the attention to myself and be like, okay, like this is how I feel. This is what I went through. What am I gonna do with that? And who does that make me now? And I think the core of this album is just freedom. Like Wanderlust itself, the word means
Mm.
to travel and to seek more and to like you're always kind of craving to move around or like, like it's about like chasing this feeling. So I knew that that's kind of like the name that I gravitated towards.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I
is
like.
this would you
No, go ahead, Ham.
are you- oh would you say this album is kind of like a for lack of a better term, you mentioned freedom. Is it like once I gotten my heart broken, I've kind of reset and get back to me, and that is the freedom. That is the part of the wanderlust, the journey again. Your heart has been broken, um, and you found the strength to find you again, and you found yourself again by going out into the world, um, by being a wanderluster and seeking out something new or something introspective for your life.
I would say that that's very on the money. Like I feel like I needed to go through that experience in order to see the world in kind of like a different way. It was I just finished like having my that was my very first ever relationship. So there was a lot of things that like, in my adolescence that I never learned or grasped or just having like a strong sense of self. And I feel like I would have never been in this position if I hadn't experienced something like that. Like it taught me how to like sit in silence, like do things on my own, be there for myself and stop relying on other people to like fill a void in me.
Mm.
So I think that you really hit it like right on the money. That's really what it's about. It's just kind of like self-love, finding yourself and not being afraid to, journey out on your own. Cause like going on your own, you can find a lot of good stuff that way.
Breaking up is hard to do in any capacity. When you spend a lot of time with somebody, especially, I don't know how long your relationship was, but it sounded like it was, at least, it sounded like it was at least over a year. And you spend that amount of time with somebody, it's very tough to get back to who you are as a person because you have created this life with somebody, and when it doesn't work out anymore, it's almost like who am I again? And so, I've definitely been there in my own personal life and finding myself again and going out and doing exactly what you just said the album was about, going out, being a wanderluster, experiencing new things, finding the beauty in being alone. I think, a lot of that is definitely a lot of that a lot of the time we look at it as a bad thing, but where it's actually a moment of real personal growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
really
I
agree.
yeah, and I just once again, I just think that now that I understand where you were going with the album or the project, it just kind of puts everything more in retrospect to me, so or in perspective to me. So yeah, man. How important would you say is authenticity when it comes to Creon Portier?
I would say authenticity is the most important. I feel like at least me as an artist, the way that I write and whenever I make music, I have to be authentic.
Mm.
Like I can't produce like I guess sort of commercial like stories that I'm not really tethered to or don't have some type of experience with.
Mm.
I feel like that's why this reads so authentic to a lot of people because you mean yeah, you could connect with the writing and connect it to your own experience, but I feel like because of the way that like I wrote it or I sang it or like it just feels real. And I feel like you have to be authentic and living your truth, whether that be good or bad, in order to like really really not only connect with your audience but to connect with yourself, because I didn't make this project to necessarily connect with other people. um, which is always, that's a gift. Like I love connecting with other artists and other people, and I'm thankful that people relate to this project. But I've always been focused like on the artistry, not like, going viral or, chart obsessed or any of that kind of stuff, financial gain. Like I did this whole project just because like to me it represents my triumph, because I went through such a really dark, depressive time in my life, and I feel like it kind of like reinvigorated me. Like it made me feel like look, this is what I'm capable of, even when like I'm not having the best day or the best month.
Mm, felt that. I felt
Yeah,
that.
and that's what it's all about. That's what art's about. It's a platform for us to vent in our own unique ways for other people to hear and experience it with. So I like that. I like how you go about it like that. You're authentic. And I was going to say earlier, a couple of tracks that really stood out to me when I listened to it. I'm a fan, by the way, of the album. I really liked "Only in My Dreams," your outro, your last song on the album. I'm really into like it gave me like the weekend type of feel for me. Really stood out to me in that way. And then Solar, I did like. I know Ham mentioned that earlier. And then Overflow was great. The dialogue at the beginning and Overflow like really like hooked me in to like saying like, yo, what I'm hearing right now is actually like I'm connecting with this right now. Like so it's I like how you incorporated that into your message behind the project. So I just want to say that. Is there any like song or one or two songs that are your favorites in this project, if you had one?
Oh yeah, I do have a lot of favorites. Funny story that you mentioned "Only in My Dreams" too, because I wrote that song like a year and a half ago. Um, uh, "Only in My Dreams" and "Down Me Up" I did demos for, and then I never got to finish them because I think I just stopped doing music for a while. It was those two songs were supposed to be in my EP before this called Joyride, but they didn't end up on there, and it was just hard to get back in contact with the guy who produced them. So I was like, oh, I guess they're just gonna be, demo tracks that like don't see the light of day. But I put that one. "Only in My Dreams" is one of my favorites. It's in my top three, and I definitely want to experiment doing more like ballady, '80s sort of songs. That's just really, really my vibe. Pressure is fantastic. Pressure is my favorite on the album. One of my biggest influences on this album and in general is K Tronada. I love K Tronada. Like he's probably like
He's the guy.
my dream feature. But yeah, I was really inspired by K Tronada, Pink Pantheress, because you get some kind of playful Game Boy songs like "Just Like That" or "Every Time." Like I was really like inspired by them for like the pop elements. So yeah, I would say Pressure's my favorite. Solar's really up there. I remember when we were doing that little choppy bit at the end because that was like my favorite part, and I was like, I wanted to have a little like effect or something on it. I was like, I want it to be a little choppy. So when I finally heard it, I was like, oh, like this is my favorite one. So
Nice.
top three, I'm gonna say Pressure, Solar, and honestly, Just Like That. I think Just Like That is cute and fun. It feels very like me and the producer, Grandpa Sweats. He's the one who produced that song.
Hey.
We said it was very baby girl. Like it just felt like a cutesy kind of Pink Pantheress, like cruising in the car kind of song. So that would be
We
my
need
top.
we need more of that. I ain't mad at it at all. You said a lot of things that I was like, I don't know if you see me, I was smiling because you said a lot of things I was agreeing with. One, I love K Tronada. I guess K Tronada is the guy.
Yeah,
Two, I've been like listening to legit nothing but 80s music probably for like the last week and a half now. It just been like 80s R&B and just like all different types of it. Listen to the sounds and just how they did things, how they composed the music sonically. It's definitely had a huge impact in my mind as far as going forward how I want to make music as well. So I think that's awesome, man. I think it's always awesome to go back and listen to how the best did it and why it was so good for their time and incorporate some of that into right now. Because like you said, we don't really have like I can't really think of the baby making, baby loving, oh baby
yeah,
baby driving the car. I can't really think of too many artists doing that right now, and that would be so refreshing to hear. So I think that's awesome, man.
timeless. Yeah, I listen to a lot of '70s, '80s music. Just like on a drive when I'm like doing chores, when I feel the need to be inspired by something. Like I love like '80s R&B or '80s pop. Like I go back to it so
Mm-hmm.
frequently. So like, I appreciate projects like The Weeknd, whose more recent work is really leaning into like a modernized '80s kind of feel.
Mm.
When I was doing this project, it kind of started out that way because basically I'm doing this kind of EP series where all of my projects are based off the Seven Deadly Sins. So my first one was Envy, and this is Lust. So,
Mm.
but I called it Wanderlust for a few reasons. Obviously, like the meaning behind Wanderlust just aligns with where I am in life right now. But it's also because I just didn't want to call it lust. I feel like envy is a strong enough word to stand on its own, but I didn't want to call it lust. I wanted it to have a little more pizzazz.
I
But
get you.
this is like technically like the second sin in this series of projects that I'm going to be doing. But it started off as like a whole '80s like aerobic project. I remember we were doing like a shoot for it, and I was gonna do like some videotapes doing like exercising as for like promo. Like it really did start out that way, and I'm happy with where it landed. But I wouldn't say that it's completely out of the question for something in the future.
Right
Okay,
on,
okay.
right on, right
And
on.
speaking of videos, you have a music video for Pressure, correct? Is that the
I
correct
do,
one?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, take us through. I'm curious. Like, take us through like the process of making it. What was the inspiration behind doing it the way you did, etc.
So the process behind doing that was really fun. So I think I planned that shoot like maybe the day before.
I was
Like
about
I,
to. I was. It's funny you said that. Sorry to cut you off because I was thinking I was gonna ask like to piggyback on Noah. I was gonna be like, bro, like that. You did that video so quickly. I was gonna ask you, did you shoot that video yourself? Because I know you said you are a cameraman. You went to school for film, and was that why it was the process was able to be so quick like that?
so I did not shoot it. Zay Stroud, who produced Pressure, he shot it. So me and him met because we worked at the same day job. And then, we became friends outside of work, and he showed me that he makes music and all that stuff. So I kept saying, like, I want to really invest in making visuals for this project and kind of like, because in my brain, like, I'm like the next Beyonce, Khalid, whatever, like I want to have visuals that are attached to my projects because I have a lot of ideas and I kind of just, I see things visually a lot of the time before I see things like sonically. So I wanted to have some visuals, and I was like, I just see red. Like this song is very red. I want to do something that has a lot of red, just feels carefree, nighttime vibes. Like I want this one to have a video. So he was like, like I have my camera, we can just shoot something. Like we're both off like this day, or he was closing that day that we shot it. And so I just did some storyboards, like on like drew some stick figures and texted some people in the group chat. I was like, hey, like I need some video vixens. Anybody want to be in this video? Like, and I was almost 100% certain that that was not going to work. Like, I was like, look, fuck it. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like, I want to at least say that we tried to like put something together. Because I feel like if you go to film school or if you're involved in any type of thing with a film, it puts you in this mindset that you have to have like a big budget, the best quality camera, like high budgeted locations and all this shit that you really don't need. I feel like I learned that just from shooting that music video. Like everybody showed up on time. We waited for Zay to get off of work, and then he skated over to the parking lot and we shot it. Like we shot it in maybe like an hour or two. And then, I went to his house the next day and we edited that video from like 10 p.m. to 5 in the morning, like consistently just getting it done. And then he has a friend who's a colorist in Canada because that's where he's from. Sent it off to him. He colored it. He sent it back, and that was boom. That was it, and it worked. Like I remember after we did the first few shots and we looked at it, we were like, "Oh shit! Like this looks cool. Like let's keep going. Let's see what we can do with it." So I really love the video, like genuinely, and I feel like the vibe comes across well. Like it matches the vibe of the song. So I'm quite proud of it, and it showed me that you don't need to have like all this stuff. It really just takes your community.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah! I love to hear that. Shout out to Creative Collective community.
that's
Exactly. They showed out. They showed up and they showed out.
That's amazing, bro. Like honestly, now I
Yeah.
gotta rewatch the video with all of that in mind, and that I know I'm gonna have a newfound appreciation for the video. Everything you said right there, my brother, is what is so beautiful about music. It's what's so beautiful about art. The fact that we have someone like Noah with the Creative Collective, Noah and David with the Creative Collective, and we are able to, hey, does anyone want to be in the video? Da da da. People are like, yeah, let's do it, and building that community. These are the type of things that when you look back 10 years from now, once everybody's famous, and you go, oh, did you? Oh, she was. Oh, she was in the video. Oh, he was in the video. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, people like that kind of stuff because it just shows the work ethic. It shows the community. You said you sent it out to your boy in Canada to be colored, so it just shows that this is all hands in on this big project, bro. I know when I rewatch the video now, later this evening, I'm gonna have a newfound appreciation for it, for real, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I'm all about community. Like anybody in the chat needs something, like I show up when I can. Like whether that be video help, whether that be editing or extras, like I'll stand in the background and mop if you need it. Because I feel like all of us, we have our own unique visions and we're all just trying to make it and like we're represent our art and our best self. So I feel like, I would be nothing without like the community. Like everybody showed up, they showed out, and we made like a banger video and like it was a good time. I can't wait to make more of them.
That's what's
Oh,
up.
yeah.
That's what's
Oh
up,
yeah,
man.
Also, the album is split. So the first half, because the whole vibe is very summery, I like to say. Like it feels just like it's a summer album. But the first five is like daytime summer, while the second half is like evening night. It's like, daytime is very like what you're waiting for. It's very pool party, very beach, very like groups of friends. Like I was inspired by kind of like Boiler Room sets or Troye Sivan, like Rush, like all kinds of like just hot, sweaty, like hanging out with people kind of vibes. And then you have songs like Pressure and Reason Why that are definitely like deeper in the night, like hanging out with friends, going clubbing, going dancing, night drives. Like that's very like that vibe.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't notice that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like if you listen again, you'll hear like the first five are definitely more like upbeaty, kind of like movie tracks, like Every Time. Even Solo's a bit darker, but it's still more like up there. As opposed to, Pressure, Reason Why, Dial Me Up, those all feel like nighttime to me.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Well,
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Is there like, this may be a hasty question, but like, do you by chance have any other song in mind that you'd shoot another video for next?
I plan on shooting a lot of music videos. I'm contemplating Solar.
Okay.
I think I want to do Solar first. After we finished editing the Pressure music video, we went to like a 7-Eleven at like 2 in the morning to get coffee. And they had like a bunch of ads that for the LA Times that they were going to throw away. And so I grabbed one, and on the front, those like propaganda kind of like what is it called? Like conspiracy theory pages where it's like, is it aliens? Is it vampires? Or like all of that stuff. The front cover of it was like, comet lands in LA. Is it vampires? Is it aliens? It had like that stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, what if I could play like a farmer or something, someone who's like alone and is just reading this newspaper and the comet lands? Because the song is called Solar. And so I was thinking like maybe I could do this kind of abduction thing and they like test on me and see like all these different concepts kind of came to mind. So we were talking about like making a whole film for it, like just shooting like a visual for every song. Like every song I somewhat know what it looks like. Like even like Overflow, I picture being like sitting alone at the beach, listening to the waves, and you're hitting play on a cassette from like a friend that you don't see anymore. And it's just them talking to you. Because that whole opening section, which is Nala, by the way, Nala Dubois, who's like my close friend. She recorded that. It's not scripted. That's genuinely her just talking to me and giving me advice. And I wanted it to be the opening of my intro because it's just real and it's authentic and I just value what she has to say. So, I picture it being like, kind of like giving myself advice / giving my audience advice. So, I picture it like sitting by the beach with some headphones on, just listening to that cassette and just letting the whole thing just play from top to bottom. So I want to shoot a lot of visuals for it. I plan on making the era last relatively long.
You said that was Nala on the intro speaking. She was the one to talk about love. Okay, well,
Yeah.
Shout out Nala. She's an amazing poet. So that man, that's dope. Yeah,
everyone
awesome,
asked me if I got that from like a movie or something. I'm like, no, she was on her break at work and she recorded it in her car.
Hard.
That's sick.
Like,
shout out Nala.
Because I knew her before Creative Collective. We went to college together.
Okay,
so I've known her for like 5-6 years at this point.
Nice.
So yeah, like, and it's not her first time appearing in one of my songs. I just wanted to have her be the start and also have a bigger role in it. There's some other like audios that she has that got cut, but they might be in a deluxe version of this album. because there still is more cassette sounds. I just didn't want to like overdo it. But I did want to play into it because I like when albums have little sound bites, like "Control" by SZA. Like I love, like I know a lot of people can kind of feel weird about like, oh, make the song without that, but I'm like, keep it in there. She put it in there for a reason. Like I like the voice notes and hearing from people's moms and grandmas and like, because that that shit matters. So
I feel you. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I had a quick question. So I noticed that this album, Wonderlust, is more, like, I guess, more poppy. I would say, right? Like, is that like a genre that you think you're going to be riding with for like most of the time? Or are you still experimenting with other genres? Or
so I definitely don't. I would say for now maybe, yeah, because I really do love pop. And pop is really like it's really expansive. Like I know I can do like a lot of different things with pop, whether it be like like radio pop or kind of avant-garde or experimental kind of pop. Like I
Mhm.
personally just really like pop. I also really like R&B. So like I wouldn't say I'm gonna completely erase songs that have a vibe that sound like Pretend, for example. I like diving into that sound as well. I guess it just depends on like how I'm feeling. But I'm using this time now to kind of experiment. I don't want to limit myself. I'm definitely going to try a lot of different things. But for now, I would say like pop and R&B is definitely like my sweet spot. But I feel like I excel the most to myself in pop. Like I love when I do songs like Pressure, for example, or Dopamine for my first project. Like I love Kate like chill, kind of dancey electro vibe songs. Like that's really like where my ear sits.
Like a poppy, like house kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, love house, love house. That's why I'm like I love songs like "What You Waiting For" and it has like a good switch up at the end. I'm like I can imagine myself like doing that in a boiler room set,
Mm.
or like I love sounds like that.
So you would say that because you said that you see visuals before you hear them sonically. How important would you say being a visualizer is, if you will?
To me, I think it's very important. I think that they go hand in hand. Um, I never really considered myself like a singles artist, which I know like by industry standards, like it has to be like single, build your audience, do like this, that, and the third. But I don't want to do it that way. I like visuals that are attached to songs. Like I love when artists do music videos for my favorite songs off their project.
Mm.
And it's because I just feel like, like how you picture Overflow may be different from how I picture it. And if me and you were to make the same song, your music video could look completely different from mine. I
That's
just
true.
feel like
That's true.
it's really cool to see other people's brains and like their ideas behind visuals. I just feel like I like to tell a story and I like visuals to match with the songs, especially for like an album. I feel like an album should at least have like one music video.
Mm.
I
Agreed.
agree.
At least two, if we being honest.
Yeah,
At least
yeah,
two.
really two.
So
I feel. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say I feel like one, I agree with you, like at least like two visuals, but I just feel like yeah, like I feel like you should have like visuals that just go with your project. Like it's nice to like put yourself on camera, try different ideas. Like you can get some really cool effects, and there's so many videos that like stick with people like years after the song or the album has dropped. Like I still think about like When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish, for example, when she did the Black Tears. Like stuff like that sticks with people. Like we all have like music videos that we remember since we were kids. Like one of my favorite music videos is Sensual Seduction by Snoop Dogg.
Mhm.
I remember the day I was watching that music video. I couldn't have been more than like 10 or 11. And I remember I was sitting there watching it on like 106 in Park and I was like, this is the coolest music video I've ever seen. Like it's in my top 5 favorite music videos ever made. And I still remember it.
No, I remember that video is fire. That video is fire.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like visuals are important, and I feel like it's a dying art. But
Why
I
is
love all
that?
that
Why
shit.
why would you say visuals are a dying art?
I just feel like we're living in an age where like the content of it is what's most important, and not necessarily like showcasing the art in a visual way. And I feel like like it's focusing a lot more on
Mm.
like creating a trend behind the music, whether that be like a dance or a certain color, or like making memes out of it, like stuff like that, which is cool. Like I'm not shitting on it. I just like I like that, I can make a music video like Pressure and it's connected to the song, but it's not like, I'm not dancing for it. I'm not doing a lot of jumping through hoops. Like I'm just letting the art speak for itself visually. I'm just
I
letting it.
I agree with you, but I think my take on it is a little bit different. I don't think you're wrong. I just think my take is different. I do think that like making music videos is low key becoming like a dying art, but I think it's for two reasons. One, the first you stated with like TikTok and stuff like that, you can make a song. You can make a like you can make your own little visual on TikTok, so it's taken away from the videographers and the create actually being creative and that kind of stuff. But the second reason, and the reason what I'm thinking of, is because I think you have a lot of people right now, and this is what really sucks. You have a lot of people right now who are looking at their music videos, looking at their views, and going, "Why am I investing all this money into this music video and only getting this many views on it or something like that?" And I think that is the most shittiest thing because it's it, I know we are a numbers based society, but you are taking away from the art when you're always only when you're excuse me when you're always only thinking about the numbers. And so
Yeah.
I see, for example, you'll I've talked to some artists, right? And because this is a conversation I've had before, and we've talked, and they were like, "Yeah, I spent $400, $500 on this video. It only got 500 plays or 500 views. Like why am I investing this money?" And da 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 da. Because it used to be like, 5, 10 years ago, if you had a pretty fire music video, that really could elevate your status and help you really get somewhere a lot faster. But it
Yeah.
just seems like the market became so saturated, and then with the advent of social media apps like TikTok, where you can just make a quick reel, I think that's taken away from people's desires to actually put out good visuals still. So
Yeah.
when I see like a really good music video, I'm always just like, ooh, like it doesn't, for me. I'm not looking at the production quality. It doesn't have to be a big budget. You do not have to have a really huge budget on a music video to get to relay your visual, your what you want the people to see, and also for it to be of quality. So I really think that the whole videos are dying and stuff like that. It concerns me because I keep hearing about it, and I'm just like, man, like we need to get back to just the importance of it all, which is the art.
Hmm.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
I agree too. I feel like just what you said, like the market is just really oversaturated, and I also feel like I one of the biggest things for me as an artist, especially going into like making music, even from my very first song, is to not become like chart obsessed, number obsessed, like money obsessed. Because yes, those things matter, especially when you have like a label or something who's investing in you. Like you have to care about those things, and you have to understand, the algorithm, the marketing, like those are essential tools, but I feel like as an artist, it shouldn't be your top priority. I'm grateful if 5 people listen to my song, or 2 people left a comment or a thumbs up on my video, because you know what, like, and I feel like even with like stuff like Instagram and all that shit, like we've been kind of taught that like low numbers, or 30 likes or whatever is like, oh, it's not good, or you should have pushed this, you should have done that. But if 30 people were sitting in the room with you that say, hey, I fuck with your content, like that means something. And I feel like I'm not ashamed of, like how my songs perform or how many views they get. Like none of that does not concern me. I post. I think I don't know if any of you see any of my posts on Instagram, but I post when like my songs cross 200. I'm like, oh my god, this song is 400 streams. It's gonna hit 500. And you know what comes after 500? 1K. Like it's all about like the journey and being grateful that people are like listening to it. Like I'm grateful to be able to sit with you guys and discuss my content and just like pick your brains, you pick my brain. Like I love being able to be, in a creative and like just to be in a creative space. Like that's really like what it's about to me. Like I'm not concerned with, like I said, like going viral or pushing up on the charts or what. None of that stuff really like concerns me. Like I'm thankful to be able to create the art.
That's
Oh
what's up.
yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Like I still like go every day when I can and look at like like 4 people listening to my music. I'm like, I'm ecstatic. Like these are people from like either at home or in another state, whatever. I don't care. Like I'm grateful for that alone. So it's like that really says a lot to me as far as it being an artist. Like I mean, I remember like Tyler the Creator saying that like he found Rex Orange County on YouTube for like with like a video of his that had like 6 views on it, and Tyler just thought he was amazing, and then he just said like, "Yo, like let's come work on something," you know. So it really like you really don't know where your music will take you these days. Like I always keep telling people, hey, just let it out, man. You got it finished, boom, let us see it, you know. So that's what I always how I always look at it. But I'm glad you point that out, Creon.
Yeah, I'm like, I think when I saw you perform, both of you, I was just kind of like blown away because it's so cool to see. It takes a lot of balls and it takes a lot of like, pride to like go out there and show people your shit and just be like authentic. Because there's some people, like even people in my life I know who have beautiful voices, beautiful like demos and scratch songs that probably will never see the light of day. And it's like it's scary and it's intimidating to like put yourself out there and be vulnerable with people, but like I feel like the more you do it, it really just teaches you like to stand on your own. Like I said, that's why I'm so proud of this project, because it just feels authentic, and it's like I'm no longer placing my value on how people perceive me, like whether they like the music, whether they don't. Like, I mean, it doesn't concern me, because like I like it. I put my hardest behind what I did, and I'm proud of what I did, and I'll always be proud of what I did. And that's like really like all that concerns me. And it's not to say like I'm not thankful for people who relate to it and love my music, and like like building a fan base, like all of those things matter to me. I detach myself from those things. Like I had to learn, like through this whole breakup thing too, like learning to detach from people and their opinions and beliefs about how I'm going to perceive myself.
Right on, man. About that. About that.
I personally see not. I don't think anything is cooler than just seeing someone just be themselves on the stage or with their art, whatever. Like I think it's the coolest thing you could do. So I appreciate you, by the way, for pointing that out. I just just try to be ourselves. That's how I have fun. So I just try to reciprocate that to the audience. But yeah, I wanted to ask you too about your recent performances. Tell us about how that's been going for you. I noticed that I know that David put you on to a performance early on this year. So should tell us a bit more how your performance catalog has been going on.
Yeah, so that was actually my very, very first ever performance. I don't even think I was supposed to go on that day. It just I feel like the stars kind of aligned. It was supposed to be kind of like me pushing myself to like go out there and just do my thing. I do plan on performing and trying to book some sessions for this project and just getting it out there to a bigger audience. I know I'm trying to do a live set, like a stripped down version of a few songs soon. So I have a lot of stuff planned. But that was such a really big moment for me. Even the second one, because I performed again at Witch's Brew. That was fun. I consider that one kind of like me wrapping up the Envy era. Because I think the only songs I performed were from Envy, and I was like, now I'm moving on to like this new chapter in my life, and it also helped me understand like how to connect with an audience, how to like what does it feel like to be on stage, and it's a really really fun, exhilarating feeling, especially when you can feel like you're vibing with it, the audience is vibing with it. It's an unmatched feeling. I don't really know how to explain it, but I think you guys both know, having performed before, like it's a great feeling when you and the audience like connect and you're both like in the pocket together. It's a great feeling.
For sure.
Yep.
That is
That's
an
what it's
amazing
all
feeling.
about,
It's an
man.
amazing feeling. It's always funny when I talk to people and like, all right, we interview people and they're like, this is our first time performing, and I was like, yeah, I remember that, and I remember you getting up on stage and being like, so this is my first time performing, and everyone's like, ah, because it's like you said, bro, there's a respect that people give you just for going up there. You know what I'm saying? And then the cool thing about Noah and David's platform, Creative Collective, it's open to everybody. So you never feel like oh my god, I gotta be this thing, and I gotta just whoop. It's like you can just really just be yourself, and it's really great training, honestly, for what will come next in all of our careers. And I just think it's a great thing. So shout out to you guys, Noah, and then shout out to you, Creon, for getting up there and doing your thing, bro. It was dope. I remember that. I definitely remember that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest gifts is being like underground or slash not discovered yet, because you have like events where you can see local talent, you can travel around, you can build a catalog of people who are probably going to rise up with you around the same time. Like we're building like the future community of what, like our respective parts of our genres or the industry or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like this is a great time to build a stage presence, focus on what type of sound you want, connect with different types of artists, because like you never know what can happen in the future. Like I think when I very first started doing this, I used to feel like insecure, and I was like, oh, like I'm just not where they are yet. Like I'm not doing numbers like that. I'm not confident like that. And one of my favorite lessons that I learned is to stop comparing myself to people, because your journey is not their journey. You don't know like how long it's
Exactly.
been for them to get there, what they have to do to get there. Like focus on yourself, focus on your own drive, because when your time does come, you need to be ready. And it's like that's what I focus on. I'm
Mm,
like I'm not worried about like anybody else's performance or how well it's doing, because when it's my time and the light is on me, I need to be ready, because I just don't want to spend my time like comparing myself to people or feeling some type of way about other people's art and other people's journey, because it's not about me. Like I want to be so distracted by watering myself that I don't even notice if the grass is greener over there. It doesn't matter.
mm,
Like it has
real,
nothing to do with me.
real, brother. I like
So
that,
like
man.
Hmm.
support people, support other artists. Like that could be your boss one day. That could be the person that stands between you and a big feature or a record deal.
Or you and
Like
your dreams, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
be kind to people, respect people's art, respect people's bravery to do stuff like this. Like that kind of stuff goes a long way.
Hmm.
Agreed, man. So, speaking of art, I noticed you were doing vinyls. What made you get into vinyls? What was the idea for vinyls? And yeah.
So I love vinyls. I collect records. Um, and it's always just been my dream to like have a record of myself that I can display. I did one test vinyl of my last EP, and me and my roommate still play that to this day. Like, I feel like vinyls are just so timeless, and I would love to capture because who knows what's gonna happen to like the digital market. Like, Spotify and Apple or whatever could crash today, and everything on there could be taken down. Um, it's the same with like streaming movies and anything digital like could be destroyed like right now. So I just feel like having like a physical copy of like my work and being able to play it like anytime, anywhere, and nothing is not going anywhere. Like that just means a lot to me. Um, and I also just love like the whole process of vinyls. Like sometimes like artists will slip in like a signed photograph or like behind the scenes pictures or lyric sheets, producer sheets, like all of that stuff is like a goodie bag. Because they're like getting
Mm.
like a gift bag. You get cool vinyl colors, like cool artwork. Like I love all of that stuff. And I was like, I knew that when I did Wonderlust that I wanted to have vinyls that people could buy and put in their own homes or listen to. Like it's more than just digital. I want my project to feel timeless, like a never ending kind of summer vibe.
Nice,
Oh yeah.
nice, nice. I completely agree with you on having like actual, like owning the actual music. This is completely unrelated. I'll probably talk about this later in a different video, but I have nine. I've been collecting music since I was 10 years old. Right, I got my first iPod when I was 10 years old, brand new. I never forget it. I've been collecting music ever since, and only probably recently did I actually stop downloading the music onto my actual like computer and started using the streaming apps and stuff like that. But I have songs that the streaming apps simply do not have, and they will never have. And it makes you realize like, oh, like you don't own this music. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you stop paying that monthly subscription, you don't own that music. That music is all gone now. And so it's important to have like actual, whether it's a physical copy of it or like the actual file of the song. I think that's super important. And I think that has gotten completely just swept under the rug. And it goes over a lot of people's heads because a lot of people are just more willing just to, just to pay the monthly fee, get the streaming, use whatever streaming app and listen to their music like that. So I think that's pretty cool. Was the process of making a vinyl difficult?
Yes and no. I think that like the process of trying to get it up and find like a company to do like bulk orders and stuff for like a smaller artist was a little difficult.
Hmm.
But the actual process of like choosing the colors and the artwork and all the stuff that goes into it was pretty easy. Like again, like I'm a visual person before a sonic person, so I just feel like I knew like what colors I wanted to use for the vinyl. Like I knew I wanted it to be kind of transparent to kind of cut the difference between like the blue and the red in the album cover.
Hmm.
But I had like variants. I had like limited edition versions. Like I plan out like all my merch as if like it's about to be sold out tomorrow.
Hmm.
Because that's just how I view myself, and it's not in a narcissistic way. It's just kind of like I'm just excited about my content, and I like to see myself where I'm going to be. Like
Sound like a good businessman, bro.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's
You
like
know,
I just love all of that shit. Like I know a lot of people say that their least favorite part is like the marketing and the now I got to do the promos and talk about this and that. I love all that shit. I love making promos. I love teasing visualizers and videos and like talking about merch and brand deals. Like I love all of that stuff.
right on. I had to fall in love with that process because definitely that was something early in my career I didn't understand. I didn't, making the song is one thing, putting the song out. How are you going to get the song out, or putting the song out for the world to hear? How are you going to do that? Is a whole different ballgame. And so right now for me, like I'm trying to learn a lot more of the marketing business aspect behind the music because I feel like the music is there. And I think that now it's just about getting it out there and finding ways to get it out there in the right way. So it's always refreshing to hear other artists, also talk about the marketing and stuff like that because that often too many times, too many times it just gets swept under the rug. A lot of artists don't think about that or consider that.
Yeah, I think what helped for me at least is that again, like doing film first. And I feel like if you're doing like a short film or a TV show or a film, like the 99% of the process is just pushing.
Mm.
Like pushing to show people that they need to invest in you and give you money to make it. After that, you got to find people who can edit it, color it, promote the movie, promote the soundtrack. Like it's constant like promotion. Even when the film is done, you're like submitting it to festivals. Like you're constantly having to market yourself. And I think it was a skill that now like kind of benefits me. Like I like doing stuff like that. And I like doing it for other people too, like helping them plan their visualizers, their rollout, like all of that stuff. Like even on a small scale, like I still feel like I had a clear rollout, even from when I started teasing like the first song on here, all the way up to when I announced the album cover or the next single with the visual. Like I feel like I still have like a steady rollout to this project.
Mm.
So stuff like that is just it's just kind of instilled in me now, I think. So I understand having to like take some time to like kind of love that process because it is tedious. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work that you have to do consistently because it's so easy to like slip through the cracks with all these artists nowadays. Like everybody sings, everybody films, everybody dances. Like it's so hard to make yourself, distinct. At least to people, at least in the eyes of people who have the power to make you much bigger.
Mm. Felt that. I felt that. I felt that. Um, Man, let's see. I probably have about two more questions for you. The first question I have is if you could talk to your self while starting out, or a message for any artist, young artist, or any artist starting out, what would it be?
That's a good question. I would say to any artist that's starting out, believe in your craft. Learn very early to be grateful for where you are now. Not like where you used to be or where you want to go. Like it's good to have goals. It's always good to have goals and to be driven, but appreciate who you are and where you are in the present and learn to like love that version of yourself. I feel like a lot of artists, their music, at least music that I like, they all stem from artists who are very content with themselves and like comfortable with like, you know, their body language, their voice, just the way they carry themselves. Like again, like Solange is one of my favorite artists of all time. And if you see her in any type of interview, she has this very like soft like aura that just feels like you can sense that someone is at peace with themselves. I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I feel like overall my advice would just be like love yourself, love on your content, and be proud of where you are now.
Hell yeah.
Nice, man. Nice.
I have a question
And
for you,
then
but I'll save it for the
question,
end.
bro.
Yeah, I'll save it for the
Well,
end.
I mean, go, please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's
We're here
nothing.
to end.
It's not like you know, it's nothing crazy. Like which one of you like killed the guy on the 405? It's nothing like that. Like I was just gonna ask you guys like what would you say like your top three was from this project?
Top three.
It doesn't have to be in any particular order.
Okay.
I would have to go with well, I mean, Overflow is the intro. I did like the intro a lot, and now you told me the story. I'm gonna go Overflow is one of them because I like the story behind Overflow now. And then shout out Nala, and then I would go with Pressure, and then probably What You Waiting For.
Okay, that's a good top three.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have to put Overflow in there. Shout out Nala once again. That backstory is crazy. I like that. Just like that, because I got that like summertime feely like type of energy from listening to that. I love that. And then Only in My Dreams.
Only in My Dreams, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always interested at every time I've had an interview so far, which is like once, about this project. I'm like, I'm always interested to see what people gravitate towards because I feel like there's a lot of different sounds on this project. So I'm just always interested to see like what people connect with. But a lot of people have been saying Overflow, which surprises me.
Are you asking that question because like, are you gonna like generate more music like towards that kind of style? Like, is that why? Because for me personally, like in my own artistry, I also feel like I'm somebody who makes different types of sounds of music, and I'll find that people will like this song, or people will like this song, or people will like this song. And I'm like, okay, well, shoot, if you guys like, all these different types of songs, maybe I should continue to create just different types of music like that. Or is it more like, are you looking at these guys and be like, okay, so you like this song, and now I'm going to generate something more like that?
Oh, that's a really good question. I wouldn't. I'm gonna say no though,
Okay.
because I feel like I have other songs that give kind of like an overflow vibe. And I never want to cater my music to specific types of people or whatever people are gravitating towards, just because like people in my audience are people who are fans of my work. Like they range from all different kinds of people. So I don't want to like exclude different groups of people, but I feel like people who like Overflow will like my future work because it's just a part of my sound. And as I evolve and go through different experiences in life, like that type of sound is going to come with me. So I'm not necessarily concerned with like, okay, this is what people like the most, so I need to make a whole EP or album of that. I just don't want, like, again, I just don't want to become obsessed with people's like perception of my music. Like I'm still going to continue to like do what makes me happy and do like the kind of sound I want to go towards. And I feel like people will still find a way to gravitate towards that. That said, I do really like that sound. Like I do kind of like the poppy trap kind of vibe of Overflow. So it's definitely not something that's gonna like die. Like I'm gonna have more songs like that, but I'm not gonna make that my specific sound.
I feel that. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And this is the last question. Noah, do you have any more questions, bro? Did you want to?
No, I'm good. Go ahead, Ham.
This is the last question. It's just more of a fun question. Just completely random, but I was just thinking about it. Do you have a dream date? Is there I know you're a single bachelor now. You know what I'm saying? Is there a do you have a dream date? Because I definitely know I have one, but yeah.
That's a fun question. I'm sorry, my answer is gonna be a little underwhelming, but really, like, no. Like I don't have like celebrity crushes, and I'm really content with like being alone right now. Like I love,
I feel you.
really love being alone.
I feel you.
Like I mean, like if romance finds me, like I'm not gonna run away from it. Like I'm also like a lover boy. Like I love being in love and like doing shit together, and like all that stuff is fun. But I'm also really enjoying like being alone and doing my own thing. Like just today, I've been alone this entire day. Like I took myself out to the mall. I took myself shopping. I sat in a restaurant and ate by myself. Like I love being alone. Like it's such a fun like experience. And again, I would never have learned that if it was not for this project and like what I went through.
There's
Because
a
I
beauty in
used to
being alone.
cling to
Yesterday,
people. I used to cling to people.
Oh,
I was, I was kind of the same way, Creon. I was always someone who wanted to be in big groups. You know what I'm saying? Be squatted up. I was also in a long-term relationship, and I've been single now for about a year. And being alone, there's a power to it, man. There is a power to it. People make it
Not a
seem
lot of
like it's
people can
this
do it.
weird thing, and then, like I think people often confuse being alone for being lonely, and I think that's two different things.
Hmm.
yeah.
I know a lot of people I can hit up to kick it, hang out, but sometimes I just want to go out and like today I got
Do
some
your
lunch
own
by
thing.
myself. Yesterday I went to
Do your own
some
thing.
some park and they were doing some event. I made some friends, and it's just cool being alone sometimes. Then there's being lonely where it's like you have nobody, but that's not what we're talking about, obviously. And I feel like people often associate the two, but being alone and being lonely are two different things. So I feel you, bro. There's a power of being there's a power to being alone, and it's pretty cool, man. You find out more about yourself. With
Yeah.
that being said, man, Wanderlust out now. The Pressure music video is out. The vinyls are coming soon. We have the wonderful Creon Potier here, and just thank you again, brother. Please tell them where they can find you, platforms, social medias, all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. So you can find me at Creon Potier on all platforms. Creon, my first name, Pot like pot, IER. That's my Instagram, and that's my YouTube. Don't follow me on anything else. Don't be weird. But those are my two big platforms that I post on a lot. Vinyls and the streaming websites and all of that stuff, like my merch and all of that, is all in my bio on Instagram. And yeah, like I hope anyone watching this wants a vinyl, like get it. You get free digital pictures. It's great. I look great on display.
Nice, 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 nice. No, any creative collective updates? Anything you want to share before we
Yeah,
move?
actually, we just announced our next open mic is going to be August 16th in a couple weeks.
Oh,
Anyone, we are taking RSVPs for guaranteed performances at the moment. You guys want to message us at all? If you guys are interested in coming through, feel free to bring your friends, whoever. Everyone's welcome, like you said earlier. I wish I could be there. I miss going to the events, man. But hey, it's gonna be
yeah.
sooner rather than later, man. So,
What was the last time you went? What was the last one you went to?
uh It was sometime in April because I had my surgery in May.
Bro, this year is going by so fast. Wow.
It
Okay, that's
Yeah,
is.
already 4 months ago. Sheesh. Bro, we're
yeah.
already halfway done with the year. Like we
Yes,
are,
sir.
we've been towards the finish line, man. It's crazy. But
Yeah,
that's what's up. I,
coming to an
I
end. Yeah, but
man,
yeah, that's as far as that. Yeah, I appreciate your guys' support. By the way, I can't thank you enough. I'm glad to see you guys are have taking advantage of the opportunity to grow and be more comfortable with performing and around other creatives and the community in general. So I love to see it for you guys, and I can't wait to see how much you guys have improved once I come back.
yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I believe you said that was the 16th. I Value on a Wave. I am putting together an event on the 17th. So, if you're in the area, guys, if you're around for the weekend, you're not doing nothing, come out and see some amazing talent. Come out and support on Friday at the Creative Collective, and then come see us on Saturday. So yeah, man. Once again, we have Creon Portier. Thank you for everything, my guy. This was fun. Definitely introspective, and I can't wait to see what you do next, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, guys.
No problem.
Absolutely.
We are Creative Collective, guys. You guys can follow us on Instagram at. I said we are Creative Collective. Excuse me. We are the End Zone. We are the End Zone MCs. You can follow us on Instagram at End Zone MCs. Get up with us on YouTube. If you guys have anything you want to say, get at me. I get right back at you. So if you want to be spicy, I can be spicy too. And look out for all what we all do next. And yeah, man, have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.